Education is like a flight, an exhilarating journey that begins with takeoff and evolves into exploration. Just as a pilot charts a course, students map out their own academic paths, fueled by curiosity and ambition. But no journey starts in the air. Before you take to the sky, you must chart your course, gauge your fuel, and adjust your wings. But sometimes, the best voyages are the ones where you're prepared to take a leap and fly blind.
Dr. Rollins was on his tractor. He was thinking about this new opportunity of a charter school.
To develop a school like this requires all the stakeholders to understand it, to understand its potential, to invest in it, and really to give the teachers and administrators the flexibility to do the things that they had worked so hard to learn about, and then bring that forward so it could be a delivery system, an instructional delivery system that was truly designed to teach each and every student. We had a scheme, we had an idea, we had a concept, but it all had to have life breathed into it and so forth. So we started small.
I recall trying to find a space. We went all over the country and all over Arkansas, and then began to look at what facilities in Springdale were open that we can convert. Dr. Rollins visited with the gentleman that used to run the Jones Center. At the end of it, they provided us some space for a couple of years until we were able to build our own facility. Our school board, they worked diligently and had a ton of trust in all of us that we could manage this new encounter that hadn't really been done before like we were doing it. But at the end of the day, they were focused on making sure every child in our district had that personalized learning experience.
And just like that, the plane is in motion. What was once just an idea is now lifting off the runway. DTSOI had its first home.
I was offered to come in and see what it was all about. And when I came in and I noticed the way that they were teaching, first of all, and then secondly, just the opportunity that could be.
Dr. Joe Rollins came to me when I was at Springdale High and said, I want you to come and work for me.
It was fun because we were so small. I mean, we had 200 students, 14 staff, so we all got to know each other very well. It was different because it was a public space. We had to share with others in the building.
So our time at the Jones Center, it was critical because it forced our kids to become a family. We were in a building that was never intended to be a school, and they were great partners to work with us. But it really brought home the point. We're going to work in open spaces. We're going to work in the community. People are going to see what you're doing. They have an interest. We have to be flexible because you have to be flexible out in the real world after you graduate. So there were lessons outside the curriculum that we learned just because we were in a building that we didn't own.
It was definitely some buy-in from some parents, I will say that for sure. Let us try out on their children because we really were doing an experiment with some of their children, trying like, is this going to work this way? And the kids were really good about letting us try things.
We wanted to use the Don Tyson School of Innovation as a lab school. What works there? What's different about what we do traditionally?
This is the heart of it, I think. The engagement of and support and commitment of your teachers is real.
We have so many memories that of being in that facility of our first grade and just kind of not knowing what we were doing, understanding the vision, but not knowing what we were doing. So every day I would leave school and I was like, at least I know how to teach because I have no idea what I'm doing.
The most effective salespeople in the group were the students of this school.
Are you?
Self-motivated.
Interested in
science,
technology,
engineering,
mathematics,
do you want to?
Build your own schedule.
To explore the education you want.
Who shared their excitement, who demonstrated their skill development, who could speak with confidence about the standards of learning that they had achieved, etc. And obviously, once parents understood that, they were very interested in it.
We were building a plane in the sky. We had a vision, but the vision wasn't written down on paper, and we had a lot of promises, but we were trying to, figure out how we were going to fulfill those promises.
Now, boarding.
It was a huge responsibility, tons of fun. It didn't even feel like a job, just because I feel like when you go to work every day and you love what you do so much and everything's so exciting, although it was a lot of work, it didn't feel like I was going to work every day. So the year I came, we had finally added 6th grade, and then we had our first graduating class. Immediately when I was principal, I realized the amount of student agency and ownership and voice, not just in the learning model, but just in how the school is run in general, was really apparent to me, and it was super exciting. It was very energizing just from the very start. Parents, patrons, community partners, family, and friends, I welcome you to the inaugural Don Tyson School of Innovation commencement ceremony. Today, each graduate is wearing an inaugural graduation Phoenix medallion.
This is the new Springdale Don Tyson School of Innovation. Everything from the classrooms, the technology, even the paint is fresh.
Well, moving buildings was a big thing. When we got the building, it wasn't quite finished. It's gotten more complex in its moving parts.
When we moved in the new building, the night before the kids came, the furniture had gotten delivered, and we spent hours putting furniture in a couple of zones where kids would have a place to sit.
I remember coming to the building and just being like, oh no, what have I gotten myself into? Because this is so different and so open and loud and a little bit chaotic. I mean, it was controlled chaos. But as the year went on, by Christmas, I was like, wow, this place is something special. It's got something going on and something I want to be a part of.
It was more than just sitting in a classroom and, learning some random subject. We were actually getting real world experience at such a young age. And it was incredible. I don't think we could have done that almost anywhere else.
I'm Sydney Osoris.
And I'm Brian Polari. In 2014, Dr. Rollins and Mrs. Solcombe knew that there had to be a new way of learning, rather than the traditional classroom.
Here's a snapshot of some of the clubs we offer.
I do completely. I love the feeling of not feeling restrained with my education path.
My answer is simple.
That's kind of what the school was. Like, we had so much freedom with certain restraints, but we were able to move freely to get to a goal that we wanted to get to, or work on a passion project, or go out and do shoots in the middle of class.
When I first was named principal, I really went back to the original mission and vision that was created when Don Tyson School of Innovation was just an idea. I was very blessed to have a great administrative team with the assistant principals, and we truly just clicked and came together and reflected on where we were, what our current reality was, and then what was the next step in making that mission and vision a reality.
For the three of us, these are all our first administration jobs. So Kelly had the vision to know that we could do it and that we would rise to meet those expectations and keep the plane flying and keep working toward cruising altitude, which we're still doing all the time.
There's always going to be barriers when you're doing something innovative, something new, something that hasn't been done, and being able to really take risk and not being afraid to take risk, because even if it doesn't turn out exactly as you had planned, you learn along the way, and it may be something better than what you expected.
Do I have any directions for what's happening next?
Well, it was definitely a learning curve. I walked into a room with 4 walls and risers and a keyboard and kind of was told, build it and they will come.
It's like every band and choir director's dream to start a program from scratch. You can shape it the way you want it to be shaped. It's a really cool experience to be able to start a program from the ground up and watch it grow and blossom into what it is today.
It was a big change for us to have the little kids here and have middle school kids here versus, just junior high and high school. I can't really believe that group of kids is going to graduate this year.
We were the first class to start with competency-based grading in 6th grade. Now how that's evolved over the years and changed to empower and standards-based grading, I feel like we've kind of been the guinea pigs for the future generations at this school.
They bicker and squabble just like every other family, but they're fun, dysfunctional little families. So they've really grown up over the years. I've seen them, they formed real strong bonds and friendships, so that's been cool to watch.
Like do you remember the bean bags? I remember there being bean bags and I'd pick those up and hit people with them. I'd grab them up and that was probably part of the reason that they got rid of the bean bags, because they were kind of projectile weapons laying in the hallway.
The idea of the Springdale Today class had just come up and I wanted to join. He said I had to prove myself worthy with editing and shooting. I didn't have any prior experience. So I just remember sitting down with my hands on my head saying, I've got to figure this out. I think that was the first instance that I knew, in order to excel with my skills here and my education, I had to put in work, and I think Mr. P and the school itself really did a good job of implementing that, you've got to work for it.
Since I teach, now I teach 6th through a senior year, I get to go ahead and see those students really progress and change. They become more studious, more mature. They go ahead and develop their own sense of humor and all the different things that come with those years of personality that they build.
For DTSOI specifically, I think that gave me a lot of opportunities as a young student in 6th and 7th grade, working with some older students who could offer me guidance on the educational world and about future planning and about just the world as a whole. I think they offer a lot of perspective.
The 6th grade math teacher gets to see their 12th grade student walk across the stage with engineering pathway and, an associate's degree. That makes you proud and makes your profession that much better for you.
I believe that we really do have something for everyone here. At the schools I've been at before, they'd have 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 pathways that they might be working on and offering students, but to have what we have, whatever it is now, 13, 14, 15, was just amazing. As a parent, it was obvious to me that if I was going to have the opportunity to work here, then I'd want to have the opportunity for my children to go here. So as Maddie was saying, Mitchell, he was here for all 5 years that I was and graduated last year with his associates. And Maddie started in 6th grade.
Welcome back to another edition of Phoenix News. I'm Maddie Doppy. And I'm Olivia LaRue.
And so if it's good enough for my kids, it's good enough for other kids. And that's always kind of the test as a parent, right? I want to make sure that every student here has the kind of experience I'd want my own kids to have. And so it's been really special to literally have those things come together here.
The Springdale School District reporting 8 new cases of the coronavirus, bringing its total number to 14 tonight.
Yeah, KNWA's Clarissa Bustamante, she joins us live from one of the first schools to have a positive case of the virus, that being Don Tyson School of Innovation. Hey, Clarissa.
Class of 2020. May marks the beginning of a new adventure for you. Your adventure is beginning during one of the most historic and unique times in our history. I am so incredibly proud of your strong finish despite the unexpected circumstances that COVID-19...
Just as it seemed like the flight towards higher education couldn't be stopped, the world entered a devastating turbulence, COVID-19.
If you're not feeling turbulence, you're not growing, and you're not being innovative. And so turbulence was a good thing. It was scary at times, but I think just the moment that we went back to the original mission and vision having a school culture where every person who works here, from all of the teachers, our cafeteria team, our front office, everybody believed in our mission and vision. And they knew the opportunities we were creating for kids inside this building and outside of this building. Phase 2 was being completed during COVID. So fall of 2020, Phase 2 was opening. And that was a time when a lot of families were choosing a virtual education. And so we knew that it wasn't just promoting the school, it was promoting opportunities that we were able to give. It was so important to me as principal, and I think that was the most important thing to me, was we had so many opportunities.
It was very difficult to keep students motivated, and it was very difficult to build a program when actually numbers were going a little bit backward because of the pandemic.
Ready, go! Better. That's it. Now play the next.
We had students playing in bags and having things over their bells. It was pretty horrible of an experience for both the student, and I'm impressed still to this day that we had the numbers still in band and choir here. It was a pretty horrible year, but we came through it.
So like 8th grade to 12th grade, that's hard because just like thinking of the memories, because there's like a big gap between 7th grade and 8th grade just because it was like a 6-month or something summer. So that feels like the big wall between my childhood and when I had to start growing up.
I lost the end of my Algebra 1 year. I didn't really learn any of the Algebra 1 stuff that I was supposed to because I was a 7th grader in an Algebra 1 class. And I think that was true for a lot of 7th graders, not really learning anything at the end of their 7th grade year.
Students lost so much education that year, really, but you persevered through it, and it's still a story. It still matters, to us, and one day we'll look back and we'll think, man, that was a huge deal.
During quarantine, I was just so obnoxiously bored. And you called me. It was like, hey, I'm going up to school to work. Do you want to go? I was like, yeah, of course I do.
That was the first senior video we ever made. And I also think it was that would really kind of put the program on the map.
Everyone's reaction to that senior video was the moment for me where I was like, this is what I want to do. Because obviously the seniors were upset that COVID ruined their senior year. But they still got a senior video, and I saw some of them calling me, texting me, saying I'm crying, this is the best thing ever. I was like, this is cool. I can make stuff that people really enjoy.
Personally, I really struggled during COVID because I'm an extroverted extrovert and I needed to be around people. So we tried to stay in contact as much, but I feel like we maybe did a little bit better because we were already kind of prepared to do that.
Don Tyson became the hub of Springdale for COVID just because we had the virtual program already built and established, and that was fabulous because it kind of gave us a leg up on what that meant to rotate to blended or remote learning. So we kind of had that already in our system and built in, but I mean, when those 4,000 kids plus came that year, yeah, it's a little bit of a blur, but I was glad that we had those processes in place already.
When you really start to think about the years that we've been through all of it, from the Jones Center and Dr. Joe Rollins to Miss Tischer to Miss Bortz to Miss Harrison. Even when we look at the COVID, I can remember bringing 5,000 students into this building and all of us becoming registrars, something that we really should never be. And we're doing things wrong in e-school. And this Miss Bortz was not the happiest person all the time during those few months. It was very stressful. Yeah, 5,000 Chromebooks in the rain, lots of memories that we have. But at the end of the day, we've always come back to that charter, the original charter, and are we on the right track?
If you just take COVID to now, what we've achieved and what we've accomplished and what we carry out on a daily basis is amazing. That's incredible, because really it's 4 years that we've truly been doing the work that we see every day now.
All of our administrators have their place, and they have all shaped to make it what it is today. We've really honed in on our vision, and now we've gone from building the plane as we're flying it to actually having a plane, and now we're just maybe fiddling with the directions a little bit. We know where we're going.
Despite growing and being so big, one thing that I feel like has stayed the same is we still have a small school feel, and it's very much a family.
We've stuck true to our vision. We've just gotten better at it, and we keep getting better every year.
But I think we're finally at a point that we're hitting our altitude and we're really taking off. Like we have, I wouldn't say we've closed that chapter. We know that we've created that vision. What's our next vision? Like what's the next 10 years gonna be?
Well, I think one thing that we've done is we've tried to set ourselves apart from everybody else. So we don't do everything like everybody else does. And I like that.
I feel like that we've gone so far and there's so far we can go. I mean, we've got a fantastic school and a fantastic program, and I feel like that there's no limit to where we could be in the future.
I've been here for so long and there's just no place like it. We have a lot of freedom and flexibility to try new things, and we want to try new things. We want to get better.
This is home to me. This is where I want to be until I retire, and there's a lot of people that feel that way, and so this is my home and this is my family.
16 years, I want DTSOI to continue to grow and serving all students from any background. And I want it to be clear to everyone in our community, in the state, that, and I'm not shy to say it, that no one does it better than DTSOI.
I'm just excited to be a part of the journey. It's been a crazy ride, a great crazy ride, and I can't wait to see what kind of things that we can dream up and become.
When you hear Diploma Plus, I think Don Tyson School of Innovation truly is the leader in a futuristic education model and innovative education model.
Everybody who's there chooses to be there, and when you choose to be somewhere every day, it adds a whole other level of excitement, achievement, opportunity, and so it's exciting.
This place started with a vision and a very dedicated team of people behind it. That will get you so far. You have to continue every year, you have to grow, you have to improve, because the world we live in is not sitting still. Congratulations. Keep flying.
It's easy to say that the potential is unlimited. I think that's absolutely true.
What you see now at Don Tyson School of Innovation is beyond the dreaming that we originally did. I think Don Tyson, in its 10 short years, has been a tremendous launching point to change Arkansas education. What Don Tyson looks like today, it's not going to look the same way. It's going to continue to grow, continue to thrive, continue to rise up as the beacon that it is of what school can be for all kids.
How did we get a meeting on this assignment?
Yeah.
Did we get
a
exceeding?
meeting, exceeding, partial meeting?
Are we partial
So
exceeding?
approaching?
5 out of 4?
5 out of
4 out of 5?
5 out of 4.
Oh,
5 out of 4.
Oh, double exceeding.
That's like a...
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
we broke ourselves.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.